Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order the January 17th, 2018 meeting of the Frederick County Planning Commission. And would you join us in a moment of silence, please? Thank you. There are no changes to the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move for adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, before we get into the agenda, I would like just to take a personal minute, if I may, because I have made the decision to step down as the chairman of this august body. And I did it for a specific reason, and that was it was time. It was time. I've sat in this chair for over a decade, and I really feel that someone else ought to have the opportunity to follow me. So therefore, I want to also express my thanks for everybody, and as good as we've been together. Thank you. I think that we'll go ahead with our agenda, and we'll look forward to doing that. So, Mike.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman, and it's been a pleasure. At this point, as we do customarily at the first meeting of the Planning Commission every year, we take time to elect the chairman, vice chairman, and secretary of the Planning Commission. Immediately following the vote, these folks will assume the position that they've been duly elected by the other members of the Planning Commission. So what I will do is I'll open the nominations, accept nominations, close the nominations, and then ultimately we'll vote to fill the position. So if it's okay at this time, I will open the nominations for the chairman of the Frederick County Planning Commission.
Madam Chair, I'd like to nominate Mr. Kevin Kenny for chairman of the Planning Commission.
Second.
Move the nominations be closed.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Kevin Kenny has been volunteered for chairman of the Frederick County Planning Commission. All those in favor of the nomination?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Kenny. Now the chairman of the Frederick County Planning Commission.
Thank you. You're taking your side, too.
Oh, I gotta go move.
Get your name.
Took your name.
Pass this down.
It's a lot to move on one.
Yeah.
What's your name?
I got two good bookends here.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, at this point I'd like to open the nominations for vice chairman of the Planning Commission.
I'd like to nominate Roger Thomas.
Second.
Move the nominations be closed.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of Mr. Thomas as the vice chairman of the Frederick County Planning Commission?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you.
Now this is the secretary part, and I'll have to step aside at this point in the process.
At this time, I accept nominations for our secretary.
Nominate Mike Ruddy.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, Mr. Mike. You're back in secretary.
You're very welcome. Now, turn the meeting back over to you now. Thank you very much.
All right. As following along with our agenda tonight, the next on our sign is committee assignments. And if you all will be gracious enough to stay in the capacity that you're all in on your exec committees as of right now, I'll be taking a look at those for the next 30 days or so and make sure that you all still want to continue on the ones you want, or if you want to make some changes, let me know and we'll get this and we'll come back before. So at this time, I would have a motion to keep the committee assignments as they are.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The next one is our 2018 meeting schedule. I'd like a motion to adopt the schedule.
Move that we adopt the schedule as shown.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The next item we have is the adoption of our bylaws, rules, and responsibility. A motion to adopt those as they've been reviewed. I think we've had several of our members review those if there's no changes. A motion to adopt our bylaws, rules, and responsibilities.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the bylaws and roles and responsibilities as written.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then they're carried. Next item on our agenda is our approval of our meeting minutes, our September 20, 2017, and our November 1st, 2017 meeting minutes. A motion to approve the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, move that we approve the September 20th and November 1st meeting minutes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then meetings are adopted. The next item on our agenda, and I'm sorry for running through this so quick, but is committee reports, and I may have some of these wrong, so if I ask for a report and you do not have one, please just correct me. The first one I have here is comprehensive plans. Do you have a report?
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Transportation is my next one. Gary, do you have it? Mr. Oates?
To be honest, no, I don't. I thought you were covering that one.
Well, I know we both were there, so that's the transition, so that's fine. So we'll have your report. Can you do a report for me next month?
Will do.
Appreciate that. Mr. Klein, do you have one for historic resources?
Yes, I do. Historic Resource Advisory Board met January 16, 2018. One discussion on the CUP was Chantel on a tower on Round Hill Road. It was decided it was the perfect place for it with the large poles of the power company and the wide selection of evergreens. The second CUP, an event center located on Waveland Farm, Cynthia Layman's. The event center will be in the existing barn located on the farm. They're doing this for the income to help maintain some of the older buildings and the buildings that have not had repairs.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. Mr. Unger, do we have a report from Frederick Water?
Yes, sir, we did. We met yesterday evening. First thing we went over was a financial report. As of the expenses as of November, everything is on target, and it looks like they're doing real well as far as meeting the expenses, not exceeding anything. So far, that part of it's been real well. We had a report on the Opequon water supply plant that's going to be built, and the design is a little over 30% complete. We have got a joint permit application out to withdraw water from the Opequon Creek, and that's being reviewed by the state agents right now. And that is actually going very well. Everything's on target for 2018. The operation report for December, rainfall was very low in December. We had just a little over a half inch. Previous month we had 1.14. Average is about 3 inches, so we are currently down on our water, but as I'm going to get to it, the plants are holding very well. Deal plant and the Anderson plant, the two quarries there's been less than a foot variance in either one of them, so they're holding up pretty well. We're getting about 1.7 million gallon per day from the Deal plant, 1.6 from the Anderson plant. We're still purchasing almost 2 million gallon a day from the city of Winchester. And our daily average is about 5.4, which is good for this time of year. It has come down since the winters got here, so we're not using nearly as much water as we was. We were going a little over 6 million gallon in the hard parts of summer. And that's about it. That's about all we have.
Thank you, Mr. Unger. The next we have is our liaison from the Winchester Planning, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes, sir. We had two conditional use permits. One to allow a single-family use over at 566 North Loudon Street, zoned CM1. It's a two-family dwelling. Now they want to switch to a single-family dwelling. That actually falls more into the comp plan. And they had unanimous recommendation to council on that one. The second one we had was 523 South Cameron Street. It's zoned residential business district with historic district overlay. They want to utilize the newly created provision for extended stay lodging. The applicant wants to create a total of 5 units. I believe there are 3 units in there now. And that was actually tabled for our February meeting because the applicant didn't post a sign. That's all we had.
All right, thanks, Mr. Piper. The next one we have is our Board of Supervisors liaison, Ms. Trout.
Hi, we had two things at the last Board of Supervisors meeting on January 10th. First, we approved the conditional use permit for Paul C. and Mary A. Valentino, 08-17, for the establishment of a special event facility in a rural district of Stonewall. And so we approved that. And then second, we had a discussion about the proposed ordinance amendment for solar energy facility, and more information was requested as going forward. That was it.
Thank you. The next portion of our meeting is our citizen comments. This is where any citizens can comment on anything that's not on the agenda tonight under the public hearing. So if anyone in the audience would like to speak, this is your time. Seeing no one, we'll close the citizen comment portion of our meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'll need to recuse myself for the next item.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Chairman,
Oates.
I'll have to recuse as well.
Mr. Manuel? Our next item on the agenda is a public hearing. It's rezoning number 06-17 for K&J Investments LLC, submitted by Stowe Engineering PLC to rezone 2.45 plus or minus acres for the RA Rural Areas District to the B2 General Business District with proffers. Thus, 1.936 plus or minus acres of land zoned RP Residential Performance District to the B2 General Business District with proffers, and 0.488 plus or minus acre of land zoned M1 Light Industrial to the B2 General Business with proffers. The properties are located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Martinsburg Pike and Snowden Bridge Boulevard in the Stonewall Magisterial District, and are identified by property identification numbers 43-A-147, 43-A-148, 43-A-149, and 43-A-151C. Ms. Perkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. This is an application to rezone 4 parcels of land that total about 3.9 acres to the B2 Business General District. As you stated, the subject properties current zoning ranges from RA, RP, and M1. If I can direct you to the screen on your left, the subject properties are outlined in black. For reference, you have Martinsburg Pike, Route 11, Snowden Bridge Boulevard, Ezra Lane, and Knowlton Lane. Now, the properties are located within the limits of the sewer water service area and are also within the limits of the Northeast Land Use Plan. And that plan identifies the properties with a commercial land use designation, which you can also see on the map to your left, which is an excerpt from the comprehensive plan. The properties primarily are shown in orange with a small sliver of blue, which is the remainder of the M1 once they located the exact location of Stone Bridge Boulevard. Now, for the property, the site access, they've proposed 1 right-in, right-out entrance on Snowden Bridge Boulevard, 1 full entrance on Ezra Lane, a right-in, right-out entrance on Martinsburg Pike, which would be accessed from Knowlton Lane. They are proffering the extension of Ezra Lane as a public road from Snowden Bridge Boulevard to the edge of the site. Now, this Ezra Lane would connect to Knowlton Lane, which will serve as part of the internal road system for the site. And I would note that these roadways will also serve as interparcel connections to the adjacent properties. Now, with this request, the applicant has proffered a number of things. Again, the limit on the number of entrances on Route 11 and Snowden Bridge Boulevard, the Ezra Lane and Knowlton Lane proffers. They've also proffered a 20-foot right-of-way dedication for Martinsburg Pike, a signalization agreement for Snowden Bridge and Ezra Lane, corridor enhancement proffers that constitute fencing, landscaping, setbacks, and signage. And there's also a monetary proffer of 10 cents per building square foot for fire and rescue. Now, this is the GDP that was proffered with the rezoning. As you can see, the properties are outlined in black, and it does show the proposed entrance locations and the right-of-way dedication. So with that, following the public hearing, staff is seeking a recommendation from the commission to forward to the board. I would be glad to answer any questions, and Mr. Tim Stowe is here on behalf of the applicant. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Perkins? The applicant like to speak?
Thank you. I'm Tim Stowe with Stowe Engineering. I'd like to first say thank you, June, for your years of service, and congratulations to our new leaders. This is what I call a cleanup. It's a small parcel of land, but an important parcel of land that we feel this zoning is appropriate. Obviously, the writers of the comprehensive plan moved in this direction as well. So I'm not going to pontificate, but I will answer any questions that you may have concerning this.
Any questions for Mr. Stowe?
Thank you.
Good, thank you. This is a public hearing, and anyone who would like to speak on this matter, open the public hearing at this time. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Open it up to staff. Any questions? The staff, but any of our commissioners have any questions or staff?
I think all of the VDOT comments have been incorporated, and that was the most significant comments I saw on it. As far as the site location, I think it's a good site. We have, there's good access and probably a good place for this type of a business. So I think I'd be in favor of it.
Thank you. I agree. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if there's no other discussion, I'd like to approve the rezoning of K&J Investments LLC.
Do I have a second?
Second.
To take a vote, Mr. Unger?
Unger, yes.
Marston, yes.
Ambrogi, yes.
Klein, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Molden, yes.
Triplett, yes.
Dawson, yes.
Moan, yes.
And chair votes yes. The motion carries, and it'll go on to the board for their next meeting. Our next item on our agenda is a information discussion item. It is the 2018-2023 Capital Improvement Plan. The CIP is a prioritized list of the capital improvement projects requested by various county departments and agencies. The plan is created as an information component of the 2035 Comprehensive Plan. Ms. Perkins.
Again, thank you. As you stated, this is a discussion for the 2018-2023 Capital Improvement Plan. Now, the CIP is a document that consists of a schedule of major capital expenditures for the county for the ensuing 5-year period, as well as a category for long-term projects, which are 6+ years out. Now, the CIP is intended to assist the Board of Supervisors in preparation of the county budget and to determine priorities for capital expenditures. I would note that the inclusion of projects on the CIP is in no way an indication that the county will be undertaking these projects. It's strictly an advisory document. It's intended to be used as a capital facilities planning document, not for a funding allocation document. Now, once adopted, the projects and cost estimates that are in the CIP may change throughout the year as circumstances change. It is also possible that the particular projects may not be funded during the year that is indicated within the plan. Now, this year's CIP continues to reinforce the connection between the CIP and the comprehensive plan and the future rezoning applications. Now, for this year's CIP, there's a total of 81 projects included. Those include schools, parks and recreation, library, county administration, fire and rescue, transportation, and the airport. Now, those are separated into 3 separate tables. First, we have general government expenditures, which is schools, parks, library, administration, fire and rescue. The second table is transportation, and the third is airport. They are separated due to the different funding sources for each of those projects. I won't go into great detail because they're hard to see, but these are the tables that are included in the CIP. Table 1, county expenditures, 2, transportation, 3, airport. And there's also a number of updated maps that are included in this. First is the general government expenditures. We have school sites, parks and recreation, and transportation. Now, the CPPC, the Comprehensive Plans and Programs Committee, discussed this and endorsed the plan at their December 17th meeting. They determined that the CIP is in conformance with the 2035 Comprehensive Plan, and they forwarded the document to the Planning Commission and the board. So tonight, we are seeking a recommendation from the Planning Commission for the CIP, as well as affirmation that the plan is in conformance with the 2035 Comprehensive Plan. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Commissioners have any questions for Ms. Perkins on any of these items? Mr. Oates?
I just have one comment. I'm still not sold on changing this from the 2018 plan to the 2018 to 2023. Because we look at this every year, and to me, it's misleading that this is the plan for the next 5 years when it's really just a plan for the next year.
It's really just to show that it is covering 5 years, even though we do look at it every year, and it is consistent with the one that we just adopted for the 2017-2022. So, the updated format.
Still not thrilled with the changing it to a
Yes, sir.
5-year plan for 1 year.
Point taken. Any other comments? Ms. Perkins? Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a discussion item, so if there's no other discussion, do we move this, or how does this?
Recommend it.
Need a recommendation?
Yes.
Board, as well as affirmation that it's in conformance with the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend approval of the 2018-2023 capital improvements plan.
Second.
Okay, do a vote. Mr. Moan?
Moan, yes.
Dawson, yes.
Triplett, yes.
Wilmot, yes.
Molden, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Oates, yes.
Klein, yes.
Manuel, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
Marston, yes.
Unger, yes.
And chair votes yes. This will move on with our recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. So we go down our list here. I believe we're to our next meeting. Okay. Okay. It goes to the board on the 14th. Thank you, Roger. That brings us to the end of our agenda. So I would like just a minute here to comment. And I don't know, Mike, do we have a meeting coming up? We will have a meeting the first Wednesday. And so we'll look forward to that. But I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to the confidence you all have shown that by electing me, but also want to thank for all of her hard years, her hard work, her honesty, integrity, Miss June Wilmot. I call her Miss June all the time because she has been an endearing part of my life for a long time, from her other career and her working together. I'm glad that she is sitting in my chair. I'll hope, they always say, never follow a legend, because there's only one way to go, and that's what I feel like I'm doing tonight. So I appreciate it. Glad to have you still here with us, and we get to move forward. So with that, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
I'll just ask for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.